The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. The trade war just got bigger. The U.S. is slapping 25% tariffs on all imports from Japan and South Korea starting August 1. President Donald Trump posted copies of his letters to both countries' leaders, warning that more nations are next. The White House says 12 other countries, including Indonesia, Bangladesh, Serbia, Cambodia, and Thailand, will be hit with duties of up to 40%. Trump also signed an executive order extending the July 9 deadline to finalize trade deals. The new deadline, August 1st.
Then we've made a deal with United Kingdom. We've made a deal with China. We've made a deal. We're close to making a deal with India. Others we met with, and we don't think we're going to be able to make a deal. So we just send them a letter. If you want to play ball, you have to. This is what you have to pay. So as far as I'm concerned, we're done. We're sending out letters to various countries, telling them how much tariffs they have to pay. Some will maybe adjust a little bit, depending if they have a cause. We're not going to be unfair about it.
Asian shares rise on Tuesday after Wall Street closes lower as the White House steps up pressure on major trading partners to make deals before punishing tariffs imposed by the U.S. take effect. This after Trump's letters to Japan and South Korea on the 25% tax on goods. A sea of green dominates the Asian markets, with South Korea's Kospi rising the most at nearly 2%. In the currency markets, the U.S. dollar is flat against the Japanese yen and Hong Kong dollar, but the Australian dollar appreciates against the greenback, while the U.S. dollar depreciates against the Singapore dollar, South Korean won, and the Thai baht. In commodities and crypto, gold prices rise by nearly 0.1%. Oil markets fall across the board. In the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin is flat, while Ethereum is in positive territory. An Indonesian top negotiator is headed to Washington to meet with U.S. officials over the 32% tariff rate announced by the Trump administration. Senior Economic Minister Erlangga Hartarto flew in from Brazil and is scheduled to arrive later today. Presidential spokesman Hassan Nasby expressed optimism about a possible trade deal between the two countries. Meanwhile, with a 25% U.S. tariff on its exports set to kick in August 1st, Malaysia's trade minister says bilateral talks are still on the table. The U.S. is Malaysia's top export market, worth over $71 billion last year. While the tariff caught Malaysia off guard, it is using the time before implementation to seek a deal. The move comes just as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio lands in Kuala Lumpur to attend the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. Bank lending rose faster in May, up 11.3% year-on-year as consumer credit jumped nearly 24%. Outstanding loans hit 13.4 trillion pesos, driven by salary, auto, and credit card loans. Business borrowing slowed to 10.2% amid weak demand from real estate and retail. Meanwhile, money supply grew 5.5% to 18.4 trillion, a slight slowdown from April's 5.8 growth. Net foreign assets fell 4.6% as the peso appreciated against the dollar. The BSP says it is watching these trends closely to keep money conditions stable. Despite global uncertainty and rising risks, Insular Life posted solid income gains, showing resilience as the country's oldest Filipino-owned insurance firm crosses the 114-year mark. G. Baroga reports.
2025 kicked off with a lot of noise, from escalating global tensions to another round of tariffs under a Trump comeback. But for insurance provider InLife, the numbers still sing a strong note. InLife reports a steady financial growth for 2024, showing stronger numbers compared to the previous year. A 2% growth in income may seem modest, but in today's volatile climate, that counts as a win. InLife President and CEO Raul Litawa credits this momentum to stronger insurance sales and smart investments in what he calls debt securities. He says they are in better shape now despite all the headwinds.
On the top line, our sales across all channels have been registering double-digit growth. And we continue to receive commendations and awards for customer service. That for me is the most important thing, that we should be always head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to service because, again, we are a mutual company.
Litawa also hints at new products launching soon, designed to complete their portfolio of financial protection for Filipino families. But the world isn't just facing economic pressure. InLife Executive Chairperson Nina Aguas says they are also keeping a close eye on the rapid rise of technology.
New technologies, especially artificial intelligence, are transforming how we live, how we work, and how we connect. These changes bring about both promise, but more pressure. They've stirred hope, but mostly anxiety.
InLife isn't just counting profits, it's also counting connections. As it celebrates its 115th year, the company hosted Harmonies in Life, a night of music and meaning for clients and partners.
This is what insurance is meant to be: a presence in uncertainty, a promise of protection, and a partnership you can trust, not just in easy seasons, but especially in the difficult ones.
For Litawa, it's also a celebration of love for their clients, for Filipino culture, and for the arts.
The arts, I think that's one of the things that binds us together as a nation. And we'd like to be very much active in arts and then music. And many of our policyholders actually enjoy, especially they enjoy concerts like this, presentations like this.
The concert featured performances from the Opera Bells and the Manila Symphony Orchestra, with a special appearance from megastar Sharon Cuneta. Income is up, morale is high, and for InLife, the music plays on even in a world out of tune. G. Baroga, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The country's manufacturing output accelerates by 4.5% in May. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows this is higher than the 4.3% expansion in April. It is also higher than the 3.3% growth recorded in May last year. The PSA says this is due to a faster annual increase in the manufacture of food products, which rose by 16.4% in May compared to 11.9% in the previous month. Philippine foreign reserves rise to $105.3 billion in June. Data from the Bangko Sentral shows the country's latest gross international reserves, or GIR, is higher than $105.2 billion recorded in May. The BSP says the latest GIR level provides a robust external liquidity buffer, equivalent to more than 7 months' worth of imports of goods and payments of services and primary income. The jobless rate falls to 3.9% in May, its lowest in 4 months. That's 2.03 million unemployed Filipinos, down from 2.11 million last year. But underemployment rose to 13.1%, with 6.6 million Filipinos needing extra work to make ends meet. Labor force participation hit a 20-year high at 65.8%, nearly half of which are employed by private firms. Services still dominate jobs at 62%, followed by agriculture at 21% and industry at 17%. We're taking a short break. More business stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. on Business Brief. Vista Land, owned by ultra-Bilyonaryo Manny Villar, secures a 3.4 billion peso loan. The property giant borrowed from an unnamed source to help its subsidiaries, including Camellia and Crown Asia, settle outstanding obligations. The real estate firm posted a 5% jump in first quarter sales to 5.85 billion pesos, boosting profits to 3.4 billion pesos. This follows a separate $150 million loan by its international arm last May, also to pay off liabilities and support day-to-day operations. Construction and engineering firm EEI Corporation secures a 15.7 billion peso contract from the Public Works Department. This is for the design and construction of Phase 1 of the Philippine International Exhibition Center at the Pasay Harbor City. The project aims to boost the country's meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, or MICE sector. It will have an exhibition area of 269,000 square meters, making it the largest convention and exhibition facility in Southeast Asia. Oil giant Petron raises 32 billion pesos from its latest bond offer. Petron President, CEO, and ultra-Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang welcomes the strong response, adding that it is proof of investor confidence in their long-term vision. Proceeds will be used to redeem the company's Series D and E bonds and to fund general corporate purposes, among others. Makati City Mayor Nancy Binay orders an investigation into public-private partnership deals signed under the administration of her sister, former Mayor Abby Binay. On Bilyonaryo News Channel's Agenda, Makati's legal officer said this is to ensure that all contracts were legally executed. The directive comes after the discovery of a nearly 9 billion peso settlement entered into by the former mayor to the contractor of the now canceled Makati subway project.
There has been an instruction, though there's no order yet received by the law department. So there has been instruction to create a fact-finding committee to investigate on all other projects, PBB projects entered into by the prior administration, because we want to ensure that the rights of the city is protected and that all contracts entered into are entered into legally and above board.
Attorney Ava Marie Ramel also flagged the timing of the deal struck just a week before the transition of leadership in Makati.
Makita po natin na June 20, ipinasa ng City Council ang resolution approving the terms and conditions of the settlement agreement. And then June 23 naman po, napirmahan itong settlement agreement. So yung timing po, makita natin, 7 days na lang po yung natitira, papasok na po ang bagong administrasyon. No? So si Mayor Nancy, pagpasok po, nagulat po na merong ganitong klaseng kontrata na nag-oobliga sa Makati City Government na magbayad ng 8.9 billion pesos. So yung timing po is highly suspicious.
We're taking a short break. More business stories coming up next. You're watching Business Brief. We're back on Business Brief. Senator Kiko Pangilinan wants those behind the smuggling of 33 million pesos worth of red onions and frozen mackerel charged with economic sabotage. Under the law, agri-smuggling worth more than 10 million pesos is a non-bailable offense and punishable by life imprisonment. Customs identified multiple importers and brokers linked to the shipments. Pangilinan urges the Justice Department to act swiftly, saying farmers are suffering while illegal traders profit at their expense. Senator Bongo concerned over the decision of some private hospitals not to accept guarantee letters issued by government officials to indigent patients. The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines earlier said some of their members have suspended accepting GLs due to delays in payment under the Health Department's Medical Assistance Program. Go, who headed the Senate Health Committee during the 19th Congress, acknowledges the challenge that hospitals face in operating without sufficient cash flow. He urges the DOH to settle the dues and clarify the cause of delay, saying the stall could cost lives. Thailand's government withdraws a draft bill that would legalize entertainment complexes with casinos. Officials say they need more time to consult the public and build understanding on the matter. The move comes amid political setbacks, including the suspension of Prime Minister Paitongtarn Shinawatra. A government spokesman said the bill involves sensitive issues that require public engagement. Philippine shares inch up for the second straight day after the unemployment rate drops to 3.9% in May. The PSE index ended higher by 0.1% to close at 64.33, finishing the day as the 10th best performer in Asia. The sectoral indices ended mixed, with services rising the most at 0.7%. Mining and oil fell the most at 0.4%. But advancers outpaced decliners 104 to 96. Total value turnover reached nearly 7 billion pesos. The day's most active stocks ended mixed, with Universal Robina rising the most at more than 4%. BPI fell the most at nearly 2%. Meanwhile, at the foreign exchange market, the peso is currently trading at 56.47 against the greenback, appreciating from the previous close of 56.69. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business, only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. See you then.